Hello, welcome to another lecture video on Law 20023, Business Laws and Regulations. We are still in a discussion of the Revised Corporation Code of the Philippines, Republic Act number 11232. For this lecture video, we will concentrate on the provisions of the law pertaining to reorganization, particularly merger and consolidation. Okay. What is reorganization? Reorganization is generally entered into to put the company on a sound financial basis and to enable it to take care of its obligations, thereby avoiding liquidation or bankruptcy. So most of the time daw, ang reorganization ay ina-undertake ng mga corporations to address their financial situation. Kapag sila ay nasa negative side na, nag-red na yung kanilang financials. But in some cases, a reorganization is effected notwithstanding the fact that the corporation is solvent. But it's not always the case that it is not always necessary that a party or a corporation, which is part of a reorganization, is suffering from liquidity issues or is going bankrupt. Hindi naman daw required yun. It is also possible, and actually it's highly possible, that two corporations will undertake a reorganization even if both of them are financially successful, nang wala silang problema with their finances. Okay lang naman daw yun. Walang problem dyan. So there are generally, under our law, meron dalawang uri ng reorganization. We have merger, and meron tayong tinatawag na consolidation. There is a merger when there's a union which affected by absorbing one or more existing corporations by another which survives and continues the combined business. It is the uniting of two or more corporations by the transfer of property to one of them which continue in existence, the other or the others being dissolved and merged therein. So in a merger, meron tayong tinatawag na constituent corporation. So parehas lang constituents, so corporation A and corporation B. In case of a merger, meron siyang meron ngayon sa mga constituent corporations natin na tinatawag na absorbed corporation and surviving corporation. Ganun yung magiging nature ng merger, no? Yung isa mawawala, yung isa magpapatuloy. Pero yung nagpatuloy, na-observe niya na yung assets and liabilities of the absorbed corporation. So, kung gagawa natin to ng equation, A corporation plus B corporation is equals to either A or B. Pag si A yung yung surviving corporation, ibig sabihin si B yung absorbed corporation. So, syempre vice versa, if B is the surviving corporation, it means that A is the absorbed corporation. Now, on the other hand, we have consolidation, the other form of reorganization. So consolidation is the uniting or amalgamation of two or more existing corporations to form a new corporation. It signifies a union as necessarily results in the creation of a new corporation and the termination of existence of the old ones. The united concern resulting from such union is called a consolidated corporation. So in case of a consolidation, yung dalawang constituent corporations natin, parehas mawawala. No? And they will give rise, they will create a new corporation. So in this case, A corporation, if nag-consolidate sila with B corporation, it will give rise to a new corporation. So kanina, you will observe, kanina A plus B equals A or B, yun yung merger. Consolidation is A plus B equals C. So under our law, how do we undertake this procedure? What is the procedure outlined in the revised corporation code in effecting a merger or consolidation? So we will discuss the steps. First, no, the board of directors or trustees of each constituent corporation shall approve a plan or merger of plan or merge. Malito. Ulit na. Magikin natin yan. So magic. So the board of directors or trustees, in case of a NASDAQ corporation, of each constituent corporation shall approve a plan of merger or plan of consolidation. Siyempre, depende kung ano yung gusto nilang i-achieve, no? Whether merger yan or consolidation. Setting forth the matters required in Section 76 of the Revised Corporation Code. So ano daw ba yung mga hinihingi ng Revised Corporation Code? Una, the names of the corporations proposing to merge or consolidate. Hereinafter referred to as the constituent corporation. So yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina pa, yung mga corporations, whether they plan to have a merger or a consolidation, ang tawag sa kanila ay constituent corporations. Next, the terms of the merger or consolidation and the mode of carrying the same into effect. Okay. Letter C, or pangatlo, a statement of the changes, if any, in the articles of incorporation of the surviving corporation in case of a merger. And in case of a consolidation, all the statements required to be set forth in the articles of incorporation for corporations organized under the revised corporation code. And finally, such other provisions with respect to the proposed merger or consolidation as are deemed necessary or desirable. So yan yung mga nakalagay, plan pa lang ito, plan of merger or plan of consolidation. It's not yet yung articles of merger or consolidation. Plan pa lang. So meron ka ng plan. Okay, anong gagawin mo? You have to have that plan approved. Yeah. So approval of the plan by the stockholders representing 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock, or in case of a non-stock corporation, 2/3 of the members in that non-stock corporation of each of the constituent corporations at separate corporate meetings called for the purpose. Talagang magkahiwalay pa to kasi bago yung mangyari yung merger or consolidation, the constituent corporations are deemed separate and distinct corporations. So any approval to be made or required by law has to be undertaken by the constituent corporations in their separate capacity. So itong binabanggit dito na meeting, no, for the approval of the plan of merger or plan of consideration na ipopropose ng board of directors or board of trustees, they have to approve it in separate corporate meetings. And the the proposal for the approval of the proposed plan of merger or plan of consolidation must form part of the agenda for that meeting. Okay? Next, prior notice of such meeting with copy or summary of the plan of merger or consolidation shall be given to all stockholders or members in the same manner as in regular meetings, special meetings of stockholders. 2 weeks either personally or by registered mail. 2 weeks na ba? Parang yun 2 weeks to. So ito, kung gagawin mo siya on a regular meeting, so tanggalin mo yung 2 weeks na yun. Kung gagawin mo siya in a regular meeting, you have 21 days. Kung gagawin mo siya in a special meeting, you have 1 week. Kasi yun yung updated rules natin, not 2 weeks. 21 days. So, punto dito, you can submit the plan of merger or plan of consideration for the approval of the stockholders in a regular meeting or in a special meeting. Ang sabi ng rules natin, kung ano yung rule for notices in regular meetings and special meetings, yun yung susundin mo um, in case of approval ng stockholders ng plan of merger or plan of consideration. So, ganun gagawin natin. So, kung regular meeting siya, 21 days prior to the meeting, dapat ipadala mo na yung notice together with a copy or summary of the plan of merger or consolidation. Hindi on the spot mo ibibigay. Ito yung plan of merger or consolidation. Diba? Masasayang oras nyo kapag on the spot mo binigay yan. Or if gagawin mo siya on a special meeting 1 week before, you have to provide them na of the copy of the plan of merger or consolidation para before pa kayo mag-meeting, napag-aralan na, nabasa na nila at napag-aralan na nila. Siyempre, you can tell that you can announce that during the meeting. We have provided you with a copy. We are now presuming na nabasa nyo siya. At ang gagawin na lang natin to is to raise our concerns or questions and then ask for approval. Or disapproval if that is the case. And then, if na-approve siya, syempre pag na-disapprove, edi wala na na-disapprove siya. Kapag na-approve siya, no, execution of the articles of merger or articles of consolidation. Ito yung mangyayari. Ito yung actually na-submit sa SEC. Articles of merger or consolidation by each constituent corporations to be signed by the President or Vice President and certified by the Corporate Secretary or Assistant Corporate Secretary, setting forth the matters required in Section 78 of the Revised Corporation Code. According to Section 78 of the Revised Corporation Code, the following should be included in the articles of merger or articles of consolidation. First item, you should include the plan of merger or the plan of consolidation. And then next, as to stock corporations, the number of shares outstanding, or in case of non-stock corporations, the number of the members. Next, third item to be included in the articles of merger or articles of incorporation, of consolidation rather, as to each corporation, the number of shares or members voting for or against the plan, respectively. So both votes should be reported as part of the articles of merger or consolidation. The carrying amounts and fair values of the assets and liabilities of the respective companies as of the agreed cut-off date. So, meron pang trabaho dito yung mga accountants. The method to be used in the merger or consolidation of accounts of the companies. Sa accounting to, syempre, pinag-uusapan. Sa adbac, ay, iba na pala yung tawag sa inyo dito. Hiwalay na subject na accounting for business combinations. Muntayin namin advanced accounting yung tawag sa kanya. Anyway, next item to be included in the articles of merger or consolidation, the provisional or pro forma values as merged or consolidated using the accounting method. So, syempre ito will have to be conducted by the certified public accountants, yung mga CPAs na, or the accountants who will be engaged by the corporation. So, meron kayo hindi ganyan na preparation of consolidated financial statements. And finally, such other information as may be prescribed by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, after drafting or coming up with your articles of merger or consolidation, you have to submit the articles of merger or consolidation to the Securities and Exchange Commission, subject to the requirement of Section 79 that if it involved corporations under the direct supervision of any government agency or governed by special laws, the favorable recommendation of the government agency concerned shall first be secured. Sa pag may mga nagbo-merge na bangko, hindi lang sila yung nag-design dyan. Pati yung Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas should be part of the plan for consolidation. Dapat may approval ng BSP, yung na yan, plan nila na to merge or to consolidate. The same way, kung insurance companies ang nag-merge or nag-consolidate, the Insurance Commission should issue a favorable recommendation or a certificate of no objection. Kapag okay na on the part of the SEC, mag-issue siya ngayon ng Certificate of Merger or Certificate of Consolidation, at which time the merger or consolidation shall be effective. If the plan, however, is believed to be contrary to law or hindi ka nag-obtain ng favorable recommendation or certificate of no objection from the concerned government agency, the SEC shall set a hearing to give the corporations concerned an opportunity to be heard upon notice, and thereafter, the SEC shall proceed as provided by the code, no, by the SE, like by the revised corporation code. Yan. So, ang final output mo dyan ay yung certificate of merger or certificate of consolidation to be issued by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Kapag meron ka na yan, ano ang effect? Anong meron kapag na-approve na ng SEC, na-issuean ka na ng certificate of merger or certificate of consolidation? So, there will only be a single corporation. In case of a merger, ang single corporation na yan will be the surviving corporation. Or in case of uh, consolidation, it is the consolidated corporation. Wala na yung mga constituent corporations. Both constituent corporations will cease to exist. No? We have the consolidated corporation na may iwan. The termination of corporate existence of the constituent corporations except that of the surviving corporation or the consolidated corporation. So, yung constituent corporations, mawawala yan, except kung ang nangyari ay merger, in which case yung surviving corporation ay may iwan pa rin, pero yung absorbed corporation, wala na siya. But terminate na yung kanyang corporate existence. In case of consolidation, both constituent corporations will cease to exist because meron na kayong bagong corporation, the consolidated corporation. The surviving corporation or the consolidated corporation will possess all the rights, privileges, immunities, and powers, and shall be subject to all the duties and liabilities of a corporation organized under the revised corporation code. As if isa siyang bagong korporasyon. So kung ititreat mo siya as irregular corporation actually. The surviving or consolidated corporation shall possess all the rights, inulit ko na naman to, privileges and immunities, and franchises of the constituent corporations. And all the property and all receivables due, including subscriptions to shares and other choices in action, and every other interest of or belonging to or due to the constituent corporation shall be deemed transferred to and vested in such surviving or consolidated corporation without further act or deed. Ang mayayari dito, isipin na lang ninyo na kung what's yours is mine. Parang ganon. Kung ako yung surviving corporation, ang sasabihin ko doon sa yung absorbed corporation, what's yours is mine. Ibig sabihin ko ano yung assets mo, assets ko na rin. Kung ano yung liabilities mo, liabilities ko na rin. So, on the part of the consolidated corporation, yun din yung sasabihin niya sa mga constituent corporations, what's yours is mine. Kung ano man yung meron ka, constituent corporation A, yung assets mo and liabilities mo, akin na rin yun. Ikaw B, yung assets mo, liabilities mo, immunities mo, franchises mo, exemptions mo sa tax, privileges mo, akin na rin. Yun yung concept ng survivorship pagdating sa merger or consolidation. And finally, there is no need to liquidate or wind up the affairs of the corporation of the dissolved of the absorbed corporation in case of a merger, and the constituent corporations in case of in case of a consolidation. There is no need to liquidate or wind up their affairs. Bakit? There is no asset to distribute. Why? Because all the assets are to be absorbed or passed on to the merged corporation, the surviving corporation, and the consolidated corporation. And there's no debts and liabilities to pay. Ganun din, nandiyan pala yung reason, since all of these are transferred to the surviving corporation or the consolidated corporation. Okay? So that's it for reorganization, no? Particularly merger and consolidation. So hopefully you understood. No? Actually, meron naman kayong separate subject on this one. No? Meron kayong entire subject. No? Wala kayong ibang ginawa kundi pag-usapan ng merger or consolidation. Although that is on the accounting aspect of things. Hindi ko naging favorite yung topic na yan. Mahirap siya. Actually, hindi siya mahirap na matrabaho siya gawin. Ang dami niyang pinapakompute, ang dami niyang pinapagawa. Anyway, this is not the this is not the correct venue to run on the that accounting subject, yung business combination. But if you have questions, you can leave them in the comment section, or if you want, you can send a message sa ating private MS Teams classroom. Okay? So that's it. No, thank you for listening and watching this lecture video, and see you in the next video to be uploaded. No, thank you and goodbye.